Hey everybody, happy Thursday, and for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that means I'm on Twitter. So, I've been on Twitter looking at your questions. If you use the hashtag KatieFAQ, that makes them much easier for me to find. And if any of you are wondering, where the heck are you? I'm in my mom's backyard in Washington State, so I'm on vacation. And tomorrow, before I forget, I will be fishing all day, so I don't know if I'll be able to do an FAQ, but I'll try to gather some footage and put that out so you can see me maybe catching a big fish. That would be exciting, right? I know that's what Sean wants, so then he can smoke it in our little smoker. Okay, so without further ado, my first question is hashtag KatieFAQ. How do you deal with feeling rejected when your questions never get answered? It's not personal, but it feels it. To be honest, the best thing that I can say is just to try to change that negative voice, thinking that I'm not answering it on purpose, because I would never. Oh, the dogs. Hopefully they'll be quiet. So, because I would never avoid anyone's question on purpose. I try to get through as many as I can. Sometimes it's just a timing thing. Like if I'm online, I'm looking at the questions, the ones that come through at that time, oftentimes are the first ones I see. So, just know that I would never do anything intentionally to hurt anyone's feelings. I try to get through as many as I can, but like I said, it's just me. Like I don't have a office filled with people helping me filter the questions, okay? Question number 2. Hi Katie, how can you practice being honest? After 8 years, I find myself lying all the time about my eating disorder. Lots of love. That is honestly one of the hardest things my clients talk about, is learning to be honest about it. Now, I'm going to assume that you're working on recovery and people in your family know that you're working on it and they know about your eating disorder, because otherwise that's where we have to start, right? We have to start getting help. We have to start reaching out. And I have a video about how to talk to people and how to reach out that I put out on, was it this Monday or last Monday? Anyway, so if that's something you're worried about, you can look that up. But assuming that they know that you're working on it, I would just be more aware. I have clients that we've been working on them when they know that they're lying. Because as we're saying a lie, we're like, why am I lying? Or we recognize that we're nervous, and I challenge my clients at least once every 5 times you find yourself doing that, make an effort to say, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm just caught in a habit. I used to not tell you about this, but because we're working on recovery, this is what I'm going through, and this is the honest truth, or whatever. So I would shoot for 1 out of every 5 lies. Try to stop yourself in the middle and change it to the truth. I know that's hard, and it's going to take some time, but be patient with it. If it's 1 every 10 times, I don't know how often they're asking you about it or how often you find yourself fibbing to keep it a secret, but that's always a good place to start. Okay, and if any of you have worked on this and you have tips and tricks and ways you've worked with your families and loved ones about it, let us know. I'm trying not to move my other hand too much because you notice then the camera shakes. Okay, question number 3. What does it mean when my cutting becomes more about the blood and less about the pain? Does this mean that I'm more suicidal? It honestly doesn't. A lot of my clients, everybody's different, first of all. As we have always been able to tell through all the videos I've done, is that everybody's experience of things like this is very different. Now, when it comes to cutting and thinking about the blood versus the pain and what we're actually doing it for, everybody's different. Some people have never wanted the pain or never cared about the blood, or vice versa. Honestly, it's a way to cope with too much feeling or an overwhelming feeling, or we don't have anything else to do, so we use that as a way to cope, and it's a release. Whether it's the pain or the blood, either way, we're still getting the release. So what I would encourage you to do is to get some help, reach out to someone, start talking about what's going on, the real reason behind our self-harm, because that's when the healing begins. It's not really about the self-harm. Like, it's not really about our eating disorder. It's not really about our depression. It's about what causes it. What's really getting at us? What is it that is really hurting us that we're trying to express in other ways? Okay? Now, the journal topic today is a quote that I want to read. And it says, life doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes heading in a new direction can be scary until you realize you're headed towards a new and exciting destination. And that was by Susan Gale. Now, the reason that I picked this one is because I'm back home. I'm back home where I grew up, and I met up with one of my girlfriends, Sarah Parker, and that was her maiden name, her married name. Anyway, so we got together just to catch up, and we were talking about how when we were younger, if someone had said, oh, in 10 years you'd be doing the XYZ, we'd said, you're a liar. Or if someone said, Katie, your dad's going to pass away, blah, 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 I'd say, no. And we would never believe it, right? But that doesn't make it a bad thing. Things happening and things not going according to our plan isn't a bad thing. And I want you all to take a second today and either think about it or write about it in your journal, where you thought you would have been and where you are now. And then I want you to pick 2 positives about that. So I thought that I would be married with kids or something, but I'm not, and I live at home and I'm doing this. And the good thing about that is because I get to focus on myself or whatever it may be. I want you to take some time to think about where you thought you'd be, where you are, and what are the positives associated with that. The bugs are really getting me out here. And you see the dog? It's in his pool. Because Molly's cool like that. Actually, Molly's hot, and that's why she's in the pool. But anyway, I think that's always good for us to reassess where we're at, where we thought we'd be, and what's so awesome about that, because life is unpredictable, and that's what makes it fun. I love you all. Like I said, I'll be fishing tomorrow, so I'll try to get some footage or at least create a video, but if I don't, know that I'm singing It's Finally Friday, and you can too, and I will see you all soon. Bye!